Welcome to For Our Success. We're so glad to have you on our show today, at our show today. We are very excited about our discussion today, which will be about our phenomenal Father's Day show that was held on June the 13th. We're going to discuss that a little more in depth and a little more, cover a little more of that, give you the highlights of it, and hopefully you'll get a chance to see that show, which is still being posted. You take a look at it and you'll see why we call it phenomenal, because it really was. We had experienced fathers on there, we had young fathers on there, we had fathers who had been a father from a moderate amount of time. It was fabulous. And they were talking about some issues that were just so profound. We'll get into that in a minute. And we're also going to revisit those goals that we set at the beginning of the year and make sure that we're on track for those and talk about that. So we have our two other co-hosts here. We have Coach, Motivity Coach, Sister Mary Anderson.
Coach Mary Ann. Hey, hi everybody. Miss you guys. Glad to be back.
Yeah, from Michigan, and also attorney Lucinda Jones.
Hello, everybody.
How you doing over there?
Doing good.
Good.
We made it through the tornadoes in Michigan.
Yes, indeed. My goodness. I'm glad everybody seems to be seemingly safe. There's maybe some moderate damage, but hopefully everyone is safe over there. And we've been dealing with the heat issues over here.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about this phenomenal show that we had for Father's Day. I mean, it was something else. We had all kinds of, fathers from every, age era, moderately, been a father for a moderate amount of years, new fathers. We have an experienced father who was also a doctor and has done a lot of studies and everything, and he was very helpful. What I really appreciated about him is that he gave that historical perspective on fatherhood. I thought that was very valuable, especially for African Americans, so they could put things in perspective and get some kind of an understanding as to our cultural mores, that is, ways of dealing with fatherhood and how we, experience fatherhood and look at it. That was real helpful. What did you think about it, ladies?
I'm not going to say that I'm biased because he is my cousin. I didn't say that during the show, but he is my cousin. But I really respect him. He has done a lot of research, a lot of just have been totally involved. And when he came with the historical aspect of, what men really, have to go through and what they have to battle as far as the whole perspective of about fatherhood. So first, let's say his name. His name is Dr. Aaron Thompson.
Yes.
And so you can find him on YouTube. I'm sure if you Google YouTube, Dr. Aaron Thompson, you'll find him. And he is currently a single dad, divorced, has been married and had children, while married. And so now he's got this other perspective where he's a single dad, but still very involved with his children. So just watch that show, watch that Father's Day show. You will,
yes, indeed,
you will know exactly why we're excited about it and what he talked about, because it was very, very informative. And then he got kind of personal with his own situation.
Yeah, he did.
I thought that was amazing too, because he wrote the book on Black fathers and divorce and Black men and divorce. And then he also wrote did a study on, fatherhood as well, and Black fatherhood as well. So yeah, it's definitely worth following him. I'm going to put some links on the site so you can just, links to where you can find his stuff. But yeah, it was good. What do you think, Lucinda?
Yeah,
I know you were kind of blown away.
Yeah, I was blown away by that, his historical background, because it really, after he spoke about that, it really allowed me to see I guess appreciate men even more because it's true. Because men in general, and particularly African American men, I don't know if he used the word behind, but that's what I concluded in my remark. Black men in particular, they're behind. It's not anything negative towards them, but because of the system. And again, I'm not dogging the system, but the reality is that the system has put so much on men, and even in some instances stripped some
Yeah.
things from men. And it's made them difficult to father. It's made it more challenging for them to father. And so I thought that was fascinating to hear a man say that. And I would love for some dads who are watching to call in, and I like to just hear what they think about that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
fascinating.
two things. Before we go any further, if anyone would like to call in to the show, the number to call in is 517-731-6120. 517-731-6120. And you can also put a comment in the chat, and we'll try to pick that up. Sister Mary will be watching that, and we'll try to pick that up too. Especially those of you who saw the show. We'd love to know what your comments are in regards to the show. Yeah, that historical thing was really, really very powerful. And also talking about mothers and how mothers were the ones that were embraced so far as when the laws began to change during Reconstruction and all of that. We were the first ones to be the domestic workers and all of that.
Yeah.
So
I was surprised about that. I did not know that.
yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was phenomenal.
And
And
also
so African American men especially were kind of seen as not necessary when you have children, essentially, but moms were, and so a lot of them, had developed this casual attitude towards fatherhood and all of that. So, but it's the system that really did not really reinforce, marriage and bonding and family, and that kind of thing, as long as there was a mom around. So we got a lot of work today to do, ladies, and trying to educate people and enlighten them as to, how these things happen,
Yeah. But I also wanted to say too, I really appreciated each father, how they adored their children, and how they love being fathers, particularly that real young father who had just the baby girl, and it is just so wonderful to see these men from young to middle age to older age really speak terms of endearment. I mean, they literally love their children, and they love being a father. And we know that as Black men, when I see for me now, I've seen Black men. It's not the first time I've seen Black men show that type of love for their children, but it's just always for me, it makes me giddy when I see and hear Black men talk that way about their children and their family. It's just a beautiful thing. Yes.
Well, that was one of their things, was that engagement is the most important thing. Not necessarily, presence and doing all this other stuff, but engaging your children. And I saw one time, just to kind of let you know what we're talking about. We were out for dinner, and this was a young father with a little girl, and this must have been time that they were supposed to be spending together, or it could have been really good quality time. And we were at the restaurant. We were kind of looking, oh, there's a daughter, a father and his daughter going out to dinner. Girl, the man stayed on the phone the whole time we were in the restaurant. I mean, this little girl, she had no interaction with him during that hour and a half we were sitting in there.
Yeah.
And that's what they were talking about, being engaged with your children, not necessarily working and trying to entertain them at the same time or whatever, but giving them a place of priority, is very, very important. And so I thought that was really, really good, especially after having that experience and seeing that straight up, and sometimes saying no, of course, and disciplining. And then we had a minister. One of our fathers was a minister, and he was giving the God account as how important it is to teach the morals and that kind of thing, but not to necessarily raise them to be you, the father.
Yeah, I really like
that kind of goes along with what Dr. Angela Reeves was talking about. These kids are preparing for a new world, a world that's going to be different from us. And so we've got to meet them in their world and not expect them to be what we want, I think they should be, but they're developing a whole new thing that we don't even have any idea about yet, probably. Oh, yeah.
I was thinking, when, I was a single parent, of course. I was, two of my sons are there. So Andre was one of the dads, and he's been a dad for 25 years. Well, 24. AJ just turned 24, and Adriana will be next month. She'll be 23. She's 22. So he and Paula have been married and raised those children the whole time, and both of them are in college, and so just to watch how Andre, who grew up without a father, me being a single parent, Andre never gotten an opportunity to lay eyes on his father due to some other crazy stuff I'm not even going to go into now. But nevertheless, he did get a chance to talk to his father once, but the father was absent. And Andre knew that that's not something he wanted to be. And I raised all my sons, and my daughter, to be there for your children, because there are some mothers that are not there for their children. I was involved with them. Andre was a radio talk show host when he was 15. Is when they started practicing. By the time he was 16, his 16th birthday came, he was on the air doing It's Your Say, producing that show. And I was helping him produce that show, because I was going out. We were getting the material. We were, researching things so that he can have on his show. And he had some dynamite shows, some awesome shows. I mean, he had single dads on there himself back then. He had, guys who had some, guys who were, homosexual on his show, who, was talking about as being teens, from that perspective. He was, he went beyond, the regular type of talk shows, and he was only 16 years old. And so, but he knew then that he would be a dad one day, and he wanted to be involved dad. He wanted to definitely be there for his children.
Well, Mary, your kids, even though their fathers may not have been, or all the fathers may not have been involved with them and everything, your boys turned out so well. And I think that's a message for some mothers who have children, to let them know that just because father may not be committed as you are, doesn't mean that your children gonna be messed up. They'll be fine as long as you put the right stuff in them.
Yeah.
Phenomenal job with your guys.
So one of the things Andre said, and I wanted to just follow up on, is the fact that they would say, well, Mom, on Father's Day they would say, hey, Mom, you're our mom and our dad, and Brandon came on our Mother's Day show when we followed up on the Mother's Day show, and it's the truth that I said to them, before, you're young, it's like, I'm your mom and your daddy, but no, I said, listen, being your mother is a full-time job. It's a full-time job, because I wasn't going to let them. Andre was almost 7 years older than my next child. So he was the only child for 7 years. So I had to really invest a lot in him so that he could set a precedent for the other ones, right?
Yes.
But so then I had these others. So with 4 sons and 1 daughter, and let me tell you, there was one game, the Anderson game, and I was the leader of it.
What was the game?
You're gonna walk here with your pants hanging down, I'd pull them all the way down. Because no, you're gonna carry. By the time they was one no older than 2, they would stick out their hand, look you in your eye, and introduce themselves and shake your hand with a good grip. I told them to grip. Don't be giving no little flimsy. Grip them. Let them know you there. You know, show up. And I told them all to show up. Listen, I didn't care what people said. I was on welfare. I was on Section 8. And I was probably one. There was only 2 Black families in our whole community. And I was one of them, and moved over there with those children. And people was like, well, you shouldn't be over there. Why are you in there? Because I was on Section 8 and we had a house. And but my children, I wanted them to learn how to be professional. I said, I'm not going with what people say. I'm a Black single mother and my children are supposed to be some kind of way. No, I'm a child of God first. And my children are not supposed to just be any kind of way. And so I knew that I didn't want them to be that kind of way. And so Brandon doesn't have any children. Chris does have Cadence, and they were married for almost 7 years before they had her. And so, and she's such a joy. Believe me, and Chris is very dedicated. I mean, listen to this story, listen to him on the Facebook Live repeat. You can watch it again. They're amazing. So Chris and Andre are there, and they're my only sons with children. And then Dominic, let me say about Dominic, because he's not one to get on live. He doesn't like to do that. But Dominic is my son-in-law, which is still like my son. Dominic, him and Elise have been married 15 years. Dominic is an amazing dad, absolutely amazing. We were all there. Let's see, Linda fell off. She should be back on in a second. We were all there at the birth of their children, and he was there, and he is very involved with those children. So we got some men that love it. And I love what Marquise was, when I invited Marquise, because I've just seen his love for his children, his sons, and they're grown, and he's still involved with them. He's been involved with them from child on. And like you said, Lucinda, he loved being a dad. All of them love being dads. And the one thing Andre said is that it's kind of sad that in the grocery store and the Father's Day section, they have the smallest section.
Yeah, they do.
Fathers, you know, but mothers got all of this. And I like how Aaron explained, Dr. Thompson explained about why the mothers seem to get all of this, you know, authority.
Authority.
We have the authority over the children totally because of the nurturing. But I still feel like, well, that doesn't happen with my sons, because they was raised by a single mom, because I said, you guys are going to learn how to cook, clean, iron, wash clothes, do whatever it is so you can help your wife. And when you have children, you can help her with those kids. So you need to know how to do that. Because in these day and age, your wife may not know how to cook. She may not know how to clean. She may not know how to do anything. So you got to do that, and especially if you're going to have children. And so, like Linda said, if you are a mother out there and you feel like, oh, I got these sons or I got these children, you know, and they don't have a father, let me tell you something. Don't use that as an excuse. Don't let anybody define you. Don't let anybody define what kind of parent you're going to be. You define that. And you go after it. I was chosen out of 41,000 people across America as a welfare work success story. When I went to the Al Gore, I was invited to Al Gore Hammer Award that the Department of Commerce, Department of Labor, and Goodwill Industry received. And I was expecting all of these people who've gotten off welfare to be there. I thought it was going to be tons of them, and there was only one. It was just me. And I was saying, you guys honored me, but I would have loved to have seen just tons of mothers who have been single mothers who worked themselves off welfare or whatever. Let me tell you, you can do it. You can do it. So I know that kind of diverts a little bit from the Father's Day, but what I'm trying to say, if you end up playing that father's role, it's not that you're the father. Give the father the role. I think another thing, Lucinda, is sometimes we don't give the fathers the respect.
It's true.
That they deserve.
Yeah, yeah, I agree.
We really don't.
We don't.
You know, hey, my way or the highway. Look, you bring those kids back here, and this is what I don't like. I don't like when a couple, and I do this because I do relationship coaching, and I see this so often, and family coaching and family boot camp. And here's the thing I see is that when the couple is separated, whether they are married or just, you know, baby's mama and baby's daddy or whatever, and not together, they use those children as a pawn.
Yes, sometimes they do. Yeah.
Yeah, that's not fair.
Yeah, no, it's not.
You know, and the mother will use her authority, exert her authority to say, well, you can't do this with my child, or you can't, you know, like I said earlier, not with my sons, because I'm like, you need to be involved. So can't no woman tell you what you can or cannot do with your child, because that's your child. And don't you leave it all for that woman, because if you do, then she can tell you, I'm the boss. I pay the cost to be the boss, because you're not showing up and you're not being a man and being the father of those children. But if you got a father that's giving it an effort, encourage that effort, right?
Yes, I agree. And yeah, I think too, as women, some of you are probably not going to like what I'm about to say, but I think as women, we need to be really, really mindful and careful about societal influences, because society has influenced women to take over, step in front of the man in instances where really you need the man, because every child needs their father. So as women, I know we have the women live and all that. Hey, I'm a civil rights attorney, so I'm all for equality. But just some things, raising children, particularly sons, they need a father. Let the father play his role, irrespective of what the circumstances are. You may not be talking to each other. There may be a divorce. There may be whatever it is. Keep in mind that he's still dad and he needs to play his fatherly role.
Right. Yeah. Right. Yes, he really does. And that's the truth. I'm sorry. I'm trying to look at some comments here. And so then I had an echo in the background. But yes, for sure. Let the father do. And here's the thing. Children don't come with the manual. Like Andre said, children just don't come with a manual. You've got to, you know, play it by ear. You've got to you got to learn. It's like trial and error. I always called the first child the trial child. That's too bad, because everything is tried out on that child, and don't let them be an only child. Oh my goodness. So they're the trial child, but you don't have to be an expert. You don't have to be perfect. There's no perfect parent. Let me tell you, as perfect as you think you are, your child is going to end up letting you know when they get grown how perfect you wasn't. Or where you wasn't perfect, okay? So don't worry about being perfect. Worry about being the best supportive person you can be for that child. Be in their life and let them know how important they are. I always tell my children, you can do anything that you want, that you put your mind to. You know, you can do anything you put your mind to. And so when a man puts forth an effort, maybe it's not how you would do it. Maybe they don't do the child's hair. You know, I love that. What was that? Hair Love. Brandon's friend Matthew Cherry wrote the little short Hair Love, and it won an Oscar. And it was this black dad who did his daughter's hair, you know, and he might not do it the way you do her hair. He may not dress her the way you would dress her or him. But you got to celebrate what he's giving and then encourage him, you know, because you can win more, more bees with honey than you can with vinegar, right? And so you can encourage him as he's given an effort, okay? And then when he is spending time with the children and you guys are not together, hey, what he does in his personal life is none of your business if it is not negatively affecting or impacting those children. Who he's sleeping with, who he's dating, who he's spending time with, whatever. If those children are in a safe environment and they are not being abused, they are not endangered, then let the man live his life. Let him be a father to his children.
Let him be a father. Yes. Yes. Let him be a father. Yes. I agree. You know? Yes.
Because some lady, and they get kind of upset with me because they were like, because I was like, excuse me, I'm gonna be on the man's side anytime you are trying to treat him like a boy and discouraging his efforts as a father. You got to dictate how he needs to be a dad. Let him learn. Encourage him to learn.
That's good. That's good.
Know? So, Linda again fell off. I'm not sure where she's is.
Coming. She's returning. Yes.
Oh, there she is. She's just coming back on right now. Yeah. You there, Linda? We don't see you on camera. Oh, there you are. There you are. There's our hostess with the mostest. Oh. We were just talking about letting dads be dads.
Yeah, it's a good time. Yeah, it was a good time. So we were just finishing up with the fathers, talking, just encouraging the fathers and let the fathers play their role.
Oh, yes. And I hope the ladies, you know, moms, aunts and uncles and everybody will just encourage fathers to watch that show because it was rich and very helpful.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we love it. Oh, Elizabeth said that they just got the book. They got Aaron's book, Dr. Thompson's book, and they love it. All right.
Great.
Okay. All right, Elizabeth. Glad. Bravo. Glad you got it. Glad you love it. Listen, make sure if you all did not get to see the show, it is so worth seeing it. It is so worth reviewing it. I'm going to put up the YouTube link to it. I'm going to share that on our page so that you can, you know, share it with dads, share it with people. Yes, it was a Father's Day show, but it's good for any show. Okay.
Okay. So now we're going to revisit those goals, huh?
Yes.
And talk about that, Sister Mary.
Yeah.
How are we coming with the goal setting and the goal reaching?
Here we go. Here we go. We are at the end of the second quarter. You started off this year, right? We all started off this year setting what? SMART goals. Specific, measurable, attainable, or achievable, or, you know, realistic and time bound. So we each set some goals and you all set some goals. We're checking in. We checked in at the end of the first quarter and let you know where we were. And hopefully you did some reassessment or some assessment and looked at your goals, see if they was realistic, see, you know, if they're worth continuing on with the rest of the year with those goals. Also, we told you that at the end of every quarter, we were going to be checking in. Well, guess what? This is the last show of the quarter. So we're of the second quarter. So we're checking in. Want to know how you're coming along. So what has gone well? Ladies, I'm going to ask you all, and then I'll share mine. What's gone well with your goal planning for up to now, from it can either happen this quarter or the first quarter, but up to now, this is halfway through the year, in the second quarter. What's going well with those goals that you set?
Well, I think for me, there has been some clarity on the goals that I'm setting, in the sense that I found that I really have to be more specific about when and how I'm going to do stuff. You know, like we were talking about that thing of, you know, getting rid of clutter and all that kind of stuff. But I have to have, and also I made a new goal, I think, since the beginning of the year. I've got some information and a topic for a book, so I'm excited about that.
Wonderful,
But it's been clarity for me, just focusing on the goals and everything, because what I found out is that I have to specifically put a certain time of day on those goals to work on that. You know, it's nice to have the goal of doing this or doing that, but unless you, for me, I have to have a specific time for when I'm going to really address that each day or whatever. So mornings are usually good for me, between 10 and 2 especially. I'm really at my best. But in the morning is the best time for me to do that. And so I'm giving myself at least an hour, you know, a day to do that uncluttering, and then also to work on that book, make that a priority each day.
Beautiful.
So that's that's my goal each day, is to work a little bit on those two things. Yeah.
Well, see, that's good, because you just said something that was very important when you said you got clarity on it. You looked at what's working for you, what's not working for you. You realize that what works best for you is to make sure that you schedule in your goals. That falls in line with being intentional. You need to be intentional about your goals, intentional about the things you're going to do. And so when you set a time to do it, or set an appointment with yourself to do it, schedule some time in, you're being more intentional. So you're more likely to get it done when you're intentional. It's like you put your mind to it, you're going to do it. You know, what about you, Lucinda?
Wow. Well, you know, I'm really excited about the goals that I've set, and I've been able to, you know, reach them and to reach my expectations. You know, one of the things, as you guys know, my YouTube channel, you know, from the first Saturday, the weekend of January, I've been putting one out every week on issues in the heart. Now I separated my issues in the heart from my educational channel. So my educational channel is strictly legal advice, information, dissemination of information, and then my issues in the heart, because that's where my passion is. So I'm happy to say that I've been reaching my goal with that. Just really excited about. It's part of my. It's just part of my daily routines. You know. Also, I picked up my saxophone again. I'm now, you know, yeah. I haven't played the saxophone since 2005.
Wow.
Picked it up.
Wow.
Starting lessons and seriously practicing it and being reacclimated to it. And my goal of setting a new goal here for the first time. So my goal is to play it in December at my church. I'm going to play, of course, two songs that I want to play. So I haven't even told my pastor yet, but this is the first time I'm really saying this. So you guys are the first audience, first to hear that I plan to make my debut in December. And my goal is to cut a Christian, sort of like Christian jazz CD.
Oh, that was wonderful. Yes.
Yeah. So I'm excited about that.
Awesome.
Oh yeah, that is awesome. Oh my goodness, my goodness. You did tell us at the end of first quarter that you were gonna do the whole saxophone thing.
Yeah.
This is great. This is wonderful. We're definitely look forward to third quarter. At the end of third quarter, to see how you're coming along with that. Because at the end of fourth quarter, you got to be performing. So, wow, amazing.
And can I say this? Can I say this?
Yes.
See, this is what I love about this SMART goal, because it really helped me. It really helped me to get on course. So what I love about this, and I'm encouraging people, if you set your goal, work towards it. Work towards it. One of the things about setting a goal and it becoming not necessarily finished, because you never really finish learning. You're always learning. At least I always want to learn and want to grow. But when you see yourself accomplishing your goals, it will, it's sort of like a launch pad that would shoot you to other aspirations. And then they become goals, and you reach those goals, and then they'll launch you to other aspirations, so on. So you never stop growing, you never stop learning, and you just never stop accomplishing. That's just the way I feel right now.
That is so true. That is so true. You know, I was telling one of my clients, I said, you know, we were going over what's going well with her and what, you know, and where she started and where she is now. And I was saying, so you have accomplished more since you set the goal. You're more intentional about what you're doing. That is more than not setting a goal at all. And I want to say it like this. I told you all about those storages, right? Had them too long. And so I want you to know at the beginning of the year, I had the 3 storages. So then I went down to 2 storages and picked up another storage so that I can separate some stuff, and then was back at 3 storages. Then I went down to 2 storages, and now I am down to, well, no, I had 3, then I went down to 2, then I went down to 1, then I went back up to 2. There you go. But now I'm just down to 1 storage.
Well, good.
So I had those for years. Thank you. I had those for years, right? But I didn't set a goal to do them. It was just like, I'll get to them when I get to them. And then there's some avoidance, you know, and so my why wasn't strong enough. And so now I'm almost done. And so what I want to say to people who set goals and you haven't reached your goals, don't give up on the goal.
Yeah,
don't give up.
Right.
Okay. It may take longer than you set it to take, but as long as you keep moving forward and moving towards the goal, you will get there. And so a friend of mine wanted to go and do something, and she had been talking about it. I said, well, why don't we set a goal? I said, well, what about planning? You know, making a plan to do that. She said, I don't like planning. And so I had to point out to her, well, you came over here. Did you plan that? Because you got here. You took a plane. You took, you know, you got here. So that was a plan. Sometimes people don't realize that they are planners. They always say, well, I'm not a planner, but you are. And you do set goals. Because if you set a goal to get some sleep tonight, guess what? Most likely you're going to get some sleep tonight. If you set a goal to eat a certain meal, most likely you're going to eat that meal. So you are a goal setter. You are a planner. Okay, you planned that meal, didn't you? So you can do this. Don't give up. Don't give up because you got delayed. Don't, you know, or you got distracted. Just get back on course. There you are. Great.
Right.
You were saying.
I think that's one of the most important things for this second quarter is just don't give up, because it's not going into the third
quarter. Go ahead.
But just, you know, keep plugging at it, you know, do what you got to do to tighten it up, you know. Set a certain time to look at it, or what, you know, what's missing, you know, what needs to be done. And so just do that. We'll be checking with you on the third quarter to see where you are, but never give up. Don't give up. You know, you may have to make some changes, but don't give it up.
Yep.
Sure.
That's what I say.
Sure.
So we're excited to see how everybody will be doing at the end of the third quarter on your goals. And hey, I plan to have that other storage gone.
Yes.
And here, let me tell you all, here is an unspoken goal that I did not share with you all. Maybe I did, but I don't remember, about the mobile home. So I couldn't really make a decision. So I wasn't doing some intentional stuff about the mobile home. But then I set my goals in my phone, everybody. I don't know if I told you to do this, but what the changes that I want to make, I put in my phone. And it's alarm 3 times a day, it goes off. So I already have, my words that I put in there every day, words, things that I want to be in my life. One is gentle. I want to be more gentle. So gentle, conscientious, so I got a number of words. But I also set additional alarms that says, make a decision on a mobble home. And I have it sounds like Linda's phone. Linda's phone sounds like my alarm, but my alarm, it sounds like I guess what do you call that? The ice cream man. The little thing, but it says make a decision about the mobile home. So hey, everybody, by the end of third quarter, I'll tell you what the decision I made and where and the update of the mobile home, because I expect it to be done by end of third quarter. So yeah, that's and you can hold me accountable to that, and I'm going to hold myself accountable as well to make sure that I do that. And that's what you do when you're setting your goals. Get a team of people that can hold you accountable, that can help you, support you, encourage you. And that's it. You should have that done. I think that's the show for today, ladies. What do you all think?
Yeah, no, that's good. Good summation. I like it. Encouraged. Somebody's encouraged.
Right. So unless we have some comments or some people who have called in, Sister Mary, or on the chat, then we're just going to encourage you to make sure that you get that Father's Day show. And you may say, well, I'm not a father, but some fathers who need to see that show.
Yeah.
And it is just enlightening and so inspiring, whether you are a father or not, so make sure that you get it and that you pass it on, the information on to others who need it. Okay. We thank you so much for joining us today. And unless you ladies have something else or other comments or whatever, we will see you in a couple of weeks. Okay. So be sure to watch our schedule and look for the announcements. We love all.
I'm so happy. Thanks everybody for
tuning in. Good night, everybody.
And we look forward
to Conversations for Our Success. Goodbye now.
Bye.
Bye.